comments.
Right. Bring on the dick jokes.
Anyways, you had a film called Rolling Papers. Let's start with that before I start asking you hilariously / embarrassing questions about marijuana.
Yeah.
What's your movie? I mean, I didn't watch it. We would research a little bit deeper, but that's not our podcast. I just saw it on your wiki page, and I consider that's pretty impressive. So tell us a little bit about this video. Where can we stream it? How many people are in it?
Well, it's on a little-known platform called Netflix.
Oh,
so
I've heard of that.
I understand if you've never seen it because, not a lot of people have access to this very elite channel.
Yes.
But, no, it's
like Cinemax After 9 but different, or is it like just normal Netflix?
Well, it's about journalism and weed, so definitely more like Cinemax.
Yeah, exactly. Hard-hitting stuff.
Yes,
that's pretty righteous.
Yeah, early 2014, I was approached by some friends, one of whom runs the Denver Film Society and the Denver Film Festival, and another is a documentary filmmaker. And they said, has anybody approached you about making a documentary about what's happening? And I said, no, I've been approached by 15 reality TV crews and turned them all down. And they're like, well, we should talk. And next thing you know, there's film crews following me and some of my colleagues for the next year.
What were some of the titles of these reality shows?
Yeah, that was one of them, Jeff Prost, because I'm a Survivor guy. Our listeners know it. We've had Survivor guests on. Did the Survivor crew come to your house? And why did you say no?
Dude, I would never say no to Probst.
Dude!
I love Survivor.
We
yeah.
are best friends!
Never.
There's nothing better than finding another Survivor fan out there in the wild.
He really does love
that
Survivor.
That was so organic, too.
What?
Well, that sounds like and it's called Rolling Paper for those that want to see. It's on Netflix. They followed you around for a year. You want to give us a quick overview, like anything funny, anything cool?
Oh, I mean, it's kind of about me and my team, so I'm the worst person to say, but it's a documentary. It's like 80 minutes. It's about journalism. It's about cannabis. And it really follows me and my team as we covered legal weed for the first year anywhere on the planet. So to me, it's like a really fascinating time capsule because let's go back to that time and remember how exciting it was that we were going to camp overnight to buy weed on the first day and frame the receipt. I mean, this was happening. This was not that long ago.
I know, and that's actually, so you mentioned something here that I have a very deep question about. You said travel the planet. Where's the farthest place you've gone for dojo? Have you been to South Jackson, Mississippi? It's rough.
Well, I've been to Mississippi, but not for weed.
Good call.
You're familiar with the University of Mississippi's tied to weed?
Yes, they have the growing farm. It's beasters at best.
Oh,
but
hideous flower.
Yeah, but that's what you get when you put people at Ole Miss in charge of the marijuana program. At least take it to the ag school down the street. We grow everything else, and we happen to hack the Russians over the break. So that's pretty good.
Well, I think it was intentional on the federal government's part to give it to somebody who was just going to butcher the plant.
That's a good point. You're fucking woke as shit.
Yeah, we probably get some of that butch playing in Alabama.
But the thing with me is imagine being introduced to cannabis as ultimately probably 38-year-old, and you're a journalist, and you're the first person in the world to ever be called a marijuana editor, and all eyes are on you after you've been on the Colbert Report and The View and Wait, Don't Tell Me and This Week with George Stephanopoulos, and you're dead scared about getting caught doing something stupid with weed. So that was me for my entire first part of getting high. So not no funny things happened, but
We're just going to take a quick break just for a second. But while I have all of our friends, shout out to our friends over at Choice Market. They just opened their flagship location on the corner of Gaylord and Colfax, just a catty corner to the DNVR bar right down the street from York and Colfax. Real big hub.
Directly across the street from Popeyes.
Oh, yeah. And if you don't know where the Popeyes is on Colfax, it's not the one near Axum. It's the one closer to downtown. It's right there. They're beacons. But check out our friends at Choice Market. They have tons of local snacks from everywhere around the metro area, and it's locally owned and everything along those lines. So we like to support
we're a couple blocks from a Choice Market right now.
Bada bing. Yeah, we are.
10th and Osage.
Oh, yeah. I used to work downtown, so I did the Broadway and 18th location, and now they have this big old grocery store and an old Chinese restaurant. It's pretty gnarly.
Yeah, they're a killer spot. Highly recommend.
All right, hold on. So when you first got introduced to weed, did you dip your toe in with maybe 5 milligrams, or was it hey, here you go, buddy, just
eat this 1,000 milligram bar, just take a big bite out of it?
Yeah, it was the first time. It was definitely some random homemade edible, not an ideal experience. Didn't go back, and then the regulated market edible. My friend was like, here, just cut this in a quarter. It was an old Daba bar. Remember the mint chocolate bars that were made by Chiba Chews? And I chopped a 10 milligram piece in a quarter, and I had roughly 2.5, the old school microdose, I like to call it. And that was when I had that really transformative experience and realized, holy shit, this substance is beautiful.
Would you say you found your third eye? Did it open that day?
I found it later, but yeah, cannabis has opened doors for me, man. I talk about it with my colleagues regularly. There are epiphanies that come from consuming cannabis or ketamine or psilocybin or LSD. I am very pro-substance, and I think they have the power to change the world, and I'm thrilled to be one of the people who are, on the forefront of this in terms of, reporting on it and being a part of this community.
You mentioned ketamine, dig it, DMT.
I'm not there yet, but I'm looking forward to it.
All right. If you need a pen, they have cartridges just like the ones we're
I know. I've turned down multiple because I'm not doing that shit at a party or a conference.
Ben, you're going to a lot fucking cooler conference than we are.
Yeah. Holy shit, my job
DMT
sucks.
pen and go sit by the pool at the MGM?
Yeah.
So wait, ayahuasca?
Yeah, it's on the list.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that's where you found the eye.
It's a dream. I would love to go down to Peru and do it right. But in the meantime, we have a line on some traveling shamans, and they come to Colorado a couple times a year.
I've heard there's some that kind of hang out up in the mountain times, and you can go rent a house up there. If you need an outside third party, not to be a spotter. But no, I'm not spotting shit. I'm in. I'll go up there. I'll throw up all over the place and see some stuff. All right. So I feel like we have a couple questions I think our local friends would like to know. You mentioned, your edibles are kind of your jam. Favorite edible?
The Coda Signature Fruit Note is very special. The Ripple Quick Stick is also very new, very special. I just love these things. They're
Let's take the
very
Grasslands
efficacious.
hat off for just a second. For a second.
Hey, they're both clients. That's true. But we happen to work with the best brands in town.
Oh, I see what you did there. Well done. And I do vouch. We vouch for the Stillwater as well as the Coda bars. We are regular supporters of the Stillwater, so I can vouch that. And they hit you quick, fast, in a hurry, which I dig, rather than having to eat an edible and sit there on your hands for 30 minutes and be like, where the fuck's this thing coming?
Mm-hmm.
It's nice to have them hit you pretty quick.
I'll give you a non-client. You want a non-client?
Yeah, give me a non-client.
All right, non-client. The chocolate-covered espresso bean as a format is just heaven. And I think 1906 does a lovely job with it.
They do make some tasty bites.
Dude, we interviewed them.
I like their whole deal.
At Billow Premium.
Yep.
Shout out to our friends in Steamboat.
Nice.
I think actually the rep now works with Evo, but she introduced us to it. And I was like, this shit works.
Yeah.
The Go, is that the ones you're talking about?
Love the Go. The Love is fun too, but I prefer the Go.
Okay. I like it.
I like the Go as well.
Yeah. All right. So favorite dispensary that you like to shop at. You can put your client hat back on.
I'll give you a client and I'll give you a non-client. How about that? So
I figured you're pretty much like the aficionado of Denver Dope. So I'm ready to hear.
I'll start with the non-client. I'm a long-time consumer of good chemistry. I think they do fine work.
I mean, I like it. You see how big he smiled? He's like, fuck yeah, I love this place.
Yeah, think about all the times.
It's like when I walk in Joy Wine and Spirits, I'm like, yeah, this smells like home. It's like burgundy and cigars.
And there's also something to be said. Like Good Chem, they are an MSO. They have many shops around town, 3-4 shops around town. They're in Massachusetts. But I also like convenience. And, I live right here on the Santa Fe Arts District. We're hanging out in West Denver right now. And I like having a consistent experience, everyday low prices. And Green Dragon is that for me. Green Dragon is consistent. It's always super strong, super on point. Great list of products, and yeah, they might be a client.
Yeah, they may be a client of yours, but I actually shop there, and so I can vouch for
Nice.
that. They recently added the Spherex THC pod. Shout out to my boy Nicolo, Matt.
Nicolo.
We're friends with all those cats. Jamie, we appreciate Katie. We love you, Drew.
Did I see you guys doing some form of Spherex taste test over the weekend?
I get high for a living, so it's pretty cool. I am now doing, for those that probably don't know, we do this so we can get to know our guests, but we're also doing an unbiased, I'm going to review them without anyone around, and then I give some out to my friends and then ask for their feedback. So when I mentioned we're eating sugar high edibles, that's our next one. We're going to do, I'll probably review it this weekend sometime, but I gave out some bags to other folks, and then they give me a little feedback, similar to how you had your team of Cannabis.
Yeah.
I got some Cannabis as well.
Nice.
So, because if it was just me and the edible doesn't work, that's kind of bullshit for me to give one opinion. So I get some other folks' opinion. Chris, edibles, thoughts?
Yes.
Did you pass out 7 times?
My thoughts on edibles?
The ones that we're eating this week?
The sugar high ones are great. Is that what the company is called? Yeah. They actually activate fairly fast, I found out. But those Coda bars.
Those hit different.
Yeah, coffee and donuts.
I think those are just all around like a tasty fucking chocolate bar.
Don't they have one with like caramel and like broken pretzel or salted caramel or something like that? Yeah, that thing does hit.
Oh my god.
My worst.
And they have huge milligrams.
Dive in with edibles though was like I had just moved out to Colorado. And somebody had given me one of those, like, Chiba Chews, like the Tootsie Roll things. And so he's like, yeah, set one on the counter up there. And I went and grabbed one and popped it. And thinking like, oh, it's the shape of a fucking Tootsie Roll. Like, okay, I eat the whole thing. And then, 5 minutes later, he's like, hey, dude, is there like a little half for me up here? And I was like, didn't warn me about that. And he's like, that was like a quad dose. And I was like, so sweet. Like, and then I just patiently await the anxiety that is coming. And it was awful.
The wave.
I left.
It's like puddled at a show.
Like they were down in my den. I just said, guys, I'll see you later. This is about to be terrible. And it was awful. And I didn't eat edibles for a long time after that.
And CB, this brings up such an interesting facet of like cannabis policy and regulation. Not to make the conversation, not to bring it down.
I like how you
No,
brought
you're not
it back,
bringing it down.
my friend.
Yeah.
That's called a circle back.
Yeah.
In the business.
Circle. Well, thanks for that. So late 2014, early 15, the state legislature looked around and they're like, you know what, there's some problems. Let's remedy some of these tweaks in the early, first in the nation, first of its kind ever cannabis regulations. And what they said is that a single dose of edible cannabis is 10 milligrams of activated THC, and we need to make that single dose not only readily identifiable outside of its packaging, but also readily identifiable as a single dose. And so at that point, they passed regs. Next thing you know, those kinds of products were no longer legal on the recreational market. Still on the medical market, but on the rec market, you can only get individual pieces or break apart pieces that are 10 milligrams and no more of that for that reason.
Yeah.
Holy shit. That's a fun fact of the day.
Fun fact.
Usually our fun facts are stupid. That was actually pretty informative.
Or that probably would have never happened if you had friends that just would inform you about the edibles you're about to consume.
Yeah, get better friends would be another one.
Yeah,
but we tell Chris that every week on this show.
Can't do it.
Here's our second fun fact, since you already had one. Did you know that a group of cats is called a clouder?
I did not.
Well, there you go. 2 fun facts in one episode.
Let's get a clouder.
I don't know. I'm kind of a dog guy, and I think you are too. You have a bunch of dogs running around here.
I got a couple dogs and a cat. He's just chilling inside.
All right. Well, seeing as we're getting to the personal questions, I feel like we've answered all the professional ones. You ready to get really deep? Chris, you got your question ready?
Barbara Walters.
Oh, the Barbara Walters question of the week.
It's just because they're so hard-hitting, This is like true journalistic form.
Would you rather be blind or deaf?
Yeah. Deaf.
Okay.
That was going to be a tough one for him because he's a music guy.
Yeah. Or was a music guy.
Yeah.
It's true.
You're going to assign these questions to him.
Okay, so are we just going to do one of them?
Do as many as you want.
All right, we might do 2. Okay, so would you rather be a pig and be able to orgasm for 30 minutes, or be a lion and be able to have sex 60 times a day?
The lion.
Lion.
And you're the apex predator. So you kind of got 2. Sorry. That's a horrible one.
Obviously you didn't think about that well enough. An orgasm for 30 minutes versus having sex 60 times a day?
Still a lion. I watched a lion have sex a couple years ago in Africa.
Did you come?
It's very quick. No.
I bet you regret saying that now.
No.
All right, hold on. All right, new one. Would you rather have balls permanently stuck to your leg or permanent swamp ass?
Balls on the leg.
That's a good question.
I like your answers with confidence.
Nobody wants swamp ass.
No.
really is the worst. Okay, so if you could have any food franchise in your house, this is more of a stoner question for you. What is it?
Like anything is